Hello everyone! So today I wanted to make a different kind of video. You've all read the title, and I want to talk about how YouTube changed my life. Now this is not from a creator's perspective, but from a viewer's, because I haven't been creating that long, but I have been viewing quite a while and it has changed a lot in my life. Now, I started watching YouTube quite late. I never watched it a lot when I was younger. Like when I was in my teens, I hardly ever used YouTube. It was when I was in my 20s when I really started using it. And I would use it to like put on music mixes to listen to while I was doing homework or while I was drawing. So I still didn't really tap into the content that was actually there. That happened later on. I mostly started watching animators, but after that I started watching more like YouTube personalities, let's call it that. People I watched a lot were like Charlotte in Japan, Evan Edinger, Rachel and June, Connie, and later on I also watched Abroad in Japan and Tokyo Lens. As you might have noticed, a lot of these channels are people living abroad, and a lot of these channels are actually based in Japan as well. And this was the first time in my life that through watching all these videos I developed the desire to travel somewhere else. Because you have to know that when I was younger I didn't travel at all. Like, we stopped going on family vacations when I was like 16 and I never really traveled somewhere on my own at all. But the thing was, I didn't have any desire to either. When I had to choose the location of my school, when I started my bachelor, I had to choose which university to go to. I could have gone to Amsterdam or Den Haag or Maastricht, but no, I went to Leeuwarden because I didn't want to leave the north of the Netherlands. And that really like is an example of how my worldview worked at the moment, because I was completely fine with staying in an environment that I already knew. And yet, that being my worldview, I kept watching these channels of people living in a different country and experience a different culture, and they have made this giant leap going to a country which sometimes they barely knew anything about, and they were sharing these experiences with us, the struggles and the excitement. And I really enjoyed seeing the differences and similarities between the culture that they already were used to, either American or Canadian, with the culture that they were experiencing, such as Japan or just England. I'm getting very bright. So I watched these a lot, and it stayed in the back of my head constantly that someday I wanted to go to Japan. That was like the first step of wanting to travel that was in my head. And this wanting to go abroad kept being in my head, especially in my third year of my bachelor degree. And this is the year that I faltered deeply. That year I struggled with a lot of personal issues, and one of them being a winter depression, which I've always been quite prone to, but that year was really bad. It was so bad that it set back my education a whole year. I didn't do my minors in that year, and then I had to redo another module as well, so I basically had to do my third year in 2 years instead of 1. And while I was going through all of this, in my third year I had the opportunity to go on an exchange. You could basically go anywhere in the world to follow a module or two abroad, and I wanted that. And I actually took some steps eventually to actually make it happen, but as unorganized and messy as I was at the time, I was too late. The actual application had already been closed, but they were kind enough to like let me apply for places that were still open. I had a preference for an English-speaking country anyway, and I didn't have a passport, so it was basically gonna be somewhere in the UK. But because I faltered so much and I couldn't shuffle my minors around anymore, I had to drop the whole exchange program. And I carried this with me the whole year that I was redoing my third year. I kept having this in my head that I wanted to go abroad, and I had the opportunity, and I was so angry at myself for not having myself together and being able to like actually organize it. Because while all this was happening, I kept watching these vlogs of these brave people going abroad and taking a leap, experiencing something completely new and out of their comfort zone, and it just convinced me of the fact that I wanted a year abroad. And I had one more chance for this, because in my 4th year of my education I had to do an internship for 10 months anywhere in the world. So I actually did proper research of how the school organized this. I was on time, I filled in all the forms and applications, I had my interviews with my tutor who helps people go to England, and with the HR office of the company that I wanted to go to, and I got accepted. And that is actually where this whole channel starts as well. I was gonna go abroad for a whole year, and I wanted to start YouTube. Because I had wanting to do YouTube for a while, but I didn't have anything interesting to tell, so yeah, I never did. But England was gonna be really interesting, and now I could finally try out what I've been watching this whole time, all those like travel vloggers and people sharing their experiences, and that's what I wanted to do as well. That, and the fact that I'm really bad at staying in contact with people. I mean, it's so easy because you have Skype and you have WhatsApp and everything, but I just really suck at it. So I thought I would make these videos and keep people up to date about my well-being and what I was doing abroad. And I made videos, and I'm really happy I did, because I just have this video backlog of all these experiences that I had in England. So yeah, a year. That was the plan, but after I'd been working there for a couple of months, I started thinking, you know, if they want to hire me straight out of school, you know, why not? I can stay another year here, or maybe 2. And that was the first time I actually realized that I felt at home in another country. And it was something really weird to me. But then, as the months went on, something else completely changed the game. I got a boyfriend, an Australian boyfriend, who had to go back to Australia in September. So that just completely annihilated all the plans that I have made of staying another year in England, because we both knew we wouldn't be able to stay apart for that long. So I literally swept everything off the table, and in September he went back to Australia and I went back to the Netherlands to get a passport and get a visa. Now, I didn't want to commit going to the other side of the world for a year if I had never been there. So the first thing that I did was actually get a holiday visa, and I went to travel New Zealand and went to Melbourne for 5 weeks. I really enjoyed my time there, so much that I was actually questioning my own decision of going there first and then going back to the Netherlands to get a longer visa, because obviously it's not the cheapest way to do it, but it was something that I apparently mentally needed to make this step, because I have made this step. Currently I'm in the Netherlands and I have been granted my working holiday visa. On the 14th of February I will be flying back to Australia, and I'm going to be there for a year or 2 or more, and I don't know. This all started with me watching YouTube videos of people living abroad and sharing their experiences, and it's just insane to think about the fact how much my life has changed just because I felt inspired by these videos that I saw. Because let me repeat what I said in the beginning, I was not a traveler at all. I have still no clue what I'm doing because I started so late with everything. You know, I can just say that my life would look completely different if I hadn't gone abroad for a year. And it has enriched my life in ways I had never expected. I can just recommend to everyone, if you have the chance of living abroad for a year, make it happen, because it will change your life. Not just that life might take you down a completely different path that you thought that you would take, but also just the experiences and the people that you meet. And you will grow mentally as a person so much because you are in a completely new environment and you have to build yourself up from the ground up. Traveling was something that I always saw as difficult and expensive, but now I am finding so many ways of making it happen. You just have to make it happen. I am truly grateful for the opportunities that I had through my education system, but I'm also really grateful for my friends who literally taught me how to travel and showing me that it's really not as difficult as you might think it is. The world is a really big place, made very small by the technology we have today, and that is something you should appreciate and use to your full extent. This was a really different video. I hope you still liked it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!